you're wanting to make digital products in 2023, or maybe you make digital products already and you want to see what other products are out there that you could be making, look no further because this video is for you. I have been selling digital products for years. I'm here to share ideas of some products you could sell that are legit and not like, I don't know, everything at this point is oversaturated on Etsy and other platforms, but I'm trying to give you realistic things that are selling that you could sell. Some of these are gonna be like beginner level and some of these are gonna be more intermediate, like you need some software to be able to do them, but nonetheless, they are profitable and there you go. First things first, if you are a hand lettering artist, you have so many options out there of things you can do, especially things you can do to stand out. First off, you can make fonts with your hand lettering. Obviously, you need a font program to do this. There are some cheaper alternatives out there than a full-fledged software. If you have a Mac, I use the Glyphs app and I love it. If you're looking to learn how to make fonts, Tila from Every Tuesday is the font teaching queen. She's the one you want to go to. I took her first round of the course before anyone had any reviews on it, and it literally changed everything for me because I had no idea there was a market for fonts out there. Like my very first font I made from this course, I am still selling today, and I think it's a terrible font just because I think my lettering from that time is not as good. So that doesn't mean that other people don't think it's good, because obviously people are still buying it. But I personally just don't like that style anymore. So that just goes to show you that you make something in, gosh, like 2018 and it's still gonna be selling in 2023. So it's crazy. And fonts, thankfully, have a higher price point than some of these other things I'm gonna list off. So if you have the money to buy the course and buy the app, I promise it's gonna pay off. It might just take some time to pay off to learn how to make the font and whatever. Next up on the list is SVGs. Now with SVGs, there are a plethora of categories you can go through. SVGs for Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, back to school, teacher, 100 days of school. Like there are so many things you can do with SVGs alone that I feel like I'm still like, holy crap, how have I not made a bunch of SVGs for this topic or this topic? Lots of occupations that people want SVGs for, just a lot of things you can do with that. And if you are a hand lettering artist, this is where you can kind of stand out a little bit because you won't be using fonts that other people are using. So you have to kind of weigh the pros and cons. Like, is it worth the time to letter it, then edit and vector, you know, or just to use a font? So I use both fonts and my lettering. I don't think there's anything wrong with using fonts. I like to support other creators as well as use my own fonts. That's kind of why I started making fonts, is so that I could use them in my designs. Anyways, all that to say, SVGs I highly recommend making. They still sell. There's just so many things you can do with it that I think it can kind of be overwhelming if you're just starting out, but it's kind of also exciting at the same time. The next thing is sublimation designs. Now with sublimation designs, you can have a design like this where it's, you know, just all butterflies and ready to go for the shirt. So you can do like t-shirt designs, or you could do like tumbler wraps, mug wraps, pen wraps. There's so many other products besides just apparel people are using sublimation for. And again, with sublimation, you have all the same categories you have as SVGs now with sublimation. Again, when you're just starting out with sublimation, there's so many things you could tackle that it's like, where do you begin? And I would just say, where do you want to begin? Like, what are you interested in? And start there. One thing you can do to repurpose some of the work you've already done is take an SVG and figure out how you can make it into a sublimation design, whether that means layering like watercolor onto the text so that it's more interesting and not just like black and white or a solid color, or adding like a background or something. The next two on the list kind of go hand in hand, but they are different audiences, so they are kind of similar but different. That is planner stickers and then PNG stickers. Planner stickers, obviously you know what those are, but digital planner stickers are great for, oh, I have one right here. So I have these ones, which are like a bullet journal planet sticker. So this is like for a reading journal. They're just like monthly reads, and you can just make it and pull it off with your Cricut. So there's stuff like that. So you have bullet journals, planners. I have like a bill pay sticker in my planner right now, and I have a few other things. You basically just make the design and make it a PNG, and then Cricut and Silhouette users can cut it with their machine and have planner stickers without having to go to the store and buy them. So you can do functional or you can do like decorative. I like to stick towards functional because that's just personally what I use. Lots of things out there, lots of holiday seasons and things like that you can make stickers for. The other side is PNG stickers, and those are more like a PNG file that someone would use to make a vinyl decal. Here are some vinyl stickers I have on hand. What I could do is I could take this polar bear and just sell it as a PNG. Then someone could use their Cricut with vinyl sticker paper and cut it out and then either use the sticker for themselves or make and sell the vinyl sticker. So I have Clipart and watercolor illustrations, and Clipart, I feel like you already know what that is, and it kind of goes hand in hand with sublimation. It's kind of the same thing. It's pretty much the same file type depending on how you're making it. It could be vectored or it could be rasters. It's just how you present it makes it look like a different product. If you have the skill to draw and illustrate, you have an advantage because a lot of designers, they can't, and they're not gonna be shy about that. A lot of us just aren't illustrators. It's a different ballgame. So Clipart and watercolor illustrations, if you are a watercolor artist, you can make watercolor Clipart illustrations, or you can do like textures and backgrounds that people can use for their sublimation designs, or that you could use for your own sublimation designs. Next on my list is digital patterns. Now these I feel like have gotten a lot more popular in the last year. I feel like personally I've seen a lot of like, maybe it's because I made an Instagram for my dog that I'm seeing how patterns are being used these days. I see a lot of people who are making dog bandanas kind of show off where the patterns they get are from, and so I feel like patterns are being used for things like that you might not like automatically think of. On Etsy, I see a lot of single patterns. On Creative Market and design bundles, I see a lot of pattern sets, so I'm testing out both. I did make 2 pattern collections so far, and I feel like I want to keep doing this just because it's kind of fun. Pattern making has always been something I wanted to do. It's kind of time consuming, so I just kind of skipped it for a while, but now I'm uploading them to design bundles, Creative Market, and Spoonflower, and Etsy, I think. I don't know if I've done that yet, but patterns seriously can be used for so many things. People can use them for sublimation, or they can order, if you sell on Spoonflower, they can order wallpaper, fabric, and then they can take that fabric and make a million products. So it's really cool to see those patterns get made into things that you might not have access to. Poly mailers, a lot of those types of shops are looking for pattern designers. You can always reach out and see if any of those people are looking for a pattern designer. If you are a photographer, then mockups are right up your alley. And I'd honestly say that you don't have to be a professional photographer, although you want to make sure you're submitting good quality photos. Product mockups are huge. These could be flat lays, these could be like mug mockups. I would just look up product mockups and see what people are selling and what people are needing. Usually you can kind of go with like what trends are selling. So like small business owners need mockups. And so comfort colors are pretty popular apparel these days. So you might want to invest in purchasing some blanks of those so you can get some mock-ups made. Mock-ups are essential to a lot of businesses. So I feel like there's a lot of potential. And if you have a certain style, then I feel like you're gonna attract the type of business that wants to portray that style. So what I mean by that is like if you have a boho style, then the boho types of shops are gonna come to you because you have a whole shop filled with boho type mockups. I guess I would say stick to one style because then that's what you're gonna get known for, and the types of people who want that are gonna keep coming back to you. Along with that, if you use Lightroom, then you can definitely sell Lightroom presets. That's very in because a lot of people have the Lightroom app on their phone, and you can use presets on your phone or your computer, and it honestly makes editing such a breeze. And people, small business owners, really want fast, easy things that they can use, and presets make all your photos look consistent. I personally made my own presets and I use those for every photo that I edit, except like my dog ones. Those ones get edited a little differently, but any product photos get edited all the same, and it just kind of helps keep things looking all consistent. If you like designing graphics, then Instagram highlights and social media graphics, the text post, or just anything social media related, those are another big seller. The people wanting those are the people who aren't designers. So you have to think about, I'm always thinking like, no one wants to pay for this because they can just do it themselves. And then I realized like some people actually can't do it themselves. They don't know how to use this stuff and how to design this stuff. So it's just easier for them to buy it versus wasting all that time trying to design something. You kind of have to get out of your own head and realize that there is a market for some things that you think are so easy. Use that to your advantage. You know how to do something that other people don't, so you might as well do something with it. Another big market is Procreate brushes and stamps. I feel like Procreate brushes more so than stamps. I personally love all the texture brushes. I purchased a huge bundle from Bardo Brush. With Procreate brushes, I say you have to make them You have to test them out and really make sure they're worth spending money on and not just something that's already in the app. There's so many wonderful brushes in the app already that a lot of people are like, why would I spend more money on something that I already have? So make it different than what's available. I hate when I see people selling a monoline brush. I don't understand it because there's a monoline brush in Procreate, so why are you trying to sell something that already exists? Along with that, I don't understand selling Procreate color swatches because you just got that from a photo or whatever, so don't do that. I think it's kind of a scam. You can instantly add color palettes from photos within 2 clicks. Don't waste your money on color swatches. Sorry if that's a controversial take, but I just can't stand it. Back to the brushes. Procreate brushes are kind of difficult to make. I wouldn't say they are impossible, but they do take some skill and practice, and you really have to play with them and make sure they work how you want them to in a lot of uses. So time consuming to make, but could pay off and could be worth it. Okay, the next thing on my list is kind of like an overall category, and then I'm gonna have a few things under it, and that's printables. And holy crap, there are so many things this could mean. You could do wedding invites, baby shower invites, like all things like that. Coloring pages are huge. I feel like these are great incentives for like an email list, freebies or whatever, or monthly freebies, but people are still buying them. I have one bundle on Design Bundles that keeps getting bought, and I'm like, this is so old. I forget that I made it. I would say about $1 per page is kind of the norm, but some sites make you do like a minimum. Like for example, Design Bundles, the minimum is $4. So on Design Bundles, I make sure I bundle it with 4 coloring pages or more to make it worth the $4, because no one's gonna buy a coloring page for $4, just one. So you have to bundle it for sites like that. But on Etsy, my single coloring pages do pretty well. Then there are things like printable trackers, habit trackers, calendars, planners. So many things can go under the printable category, it's crazy. But for the trackers, things like habit trackers, but also like reading trackers, goals, like a savings tracker or things like that, financial trackers, weight loss, exercise. I pretty much stick to like what I need or what people around me need and go from there and kind of like experiment. And then, like I said, calendars and planners are also pretty big in that category. Blank calendars, daily or weekly planners are pretty nice to have. I have a few that I've designed that I just print out on 8.5 by 11 paper, and it's kind of nice to like switch it up without having to pay a lot of money to switch it up, you know? So it's kind of good flexibility to have. Another option, if you are a hand lettering artist, you could also make lettering worksheets. So these are pretty big for me. They've been a bestseller on Etsy, and now they're a bestseller on Design Bundles, and I want to keep making more of them. Definitely make sure you know what you're talking about and what you're doing before you start making those, because you don't want to lead people down the wrong path when they're trying to learn something, if that makes sense. I try and make those as beginner friendly as possible, but also worth the money. And then last thing on my list is something kind of new to me, but it's greeting cards. I mean, obviously I've sold greeting cards in my physical product shop, but selling printable cards is a whole new ballgame for me. And I'm gonna be honest, it hasn't been successful yet. I also haven't uploaded them on Etsy, and I feel like that's where people think about buying them. So I do need to test it out on Etsy before I decide if this is something worth continuing and making products for. I do think there's a market for it. It's just a specific market. It's the person who knows they exist, who knows it's better to make it at home than to go out to the store, who values a creative design over a store-bought design. Like, it's a very specific person, and it has to be someone who has a printer and card stock on hand and can make the cards at home. I feel like that's not everyone. I mean, they are a very simple product to make yourself, but not everyone feels like doing that. Some people are more willing to just like, I'm just gonna go to the store and spend $5 on a card, or $1 on a card, depending on where you're going. So that is my list of 20 plus things you can make and sell in 2023. These were all pretty legitimate ideas and things that I do see that are selling pretty well on Design Bundles and sites like that. So I hope this sparked some ideas and got your wheels turning. Let me know in the comments which one you are gonna try. Have a great day.